You guys ever known that one thing or had that one thing that was cool until, well, everybody knew about it? Like it was cool until everyone told everyone, and then it just became a colossal circle jerk. Well, that's Arc System Works. Ever since Dragon Ball FighterZ and now Marvel Dokkan, just fucking bank on your original IPs, bro. It's not that hard. Arc System Works has continued to have one of the shittiest fan bases in the entire FGC, and that's just a lot considering the FGC is one of the worst fucking communities ever to join. Now look, Arc System Works fans aren't as bad as MVC or Tekken fans, but still bad enough to warrant a video on them just because of how toxic and just borderline fucking weird they are. Plus, hey, it's a video that no one has really even made yet. So, hey, you get something original for once. There's more you could say with a lot of other YouTubers this day and age. But fuck it, introduction's out the way, and let's get into the reasons, because, oh boy, they're just like, they are D1 LeBron level Glazers.
What the fuck? Fuck this shit.
I'm sure everyone is aware, or at least knows of those people. The people who prize themselves on being the obscure media guy or the indie guy. The guy who always circle jerks something if it's obscure, and even if it's not even good, it's still obscure, so they'll circle jerk it. Some of the biggest examples include both anime and indie stuff, which... oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. And when you combine the two in some kind of weird incest, weird fucking fusion dance, you get the Arc System Works fans. Now, there's two kinds of circle jerks when it comes down to Arc System Works fans. The first one is that they will treat Arc System Works like the fucking messiah of fighting games, even if the game isn't that good, like Guilty Gear Strive or Dragon Ball FighterZ. And yes, I'm going to call Dragon Ball FighterZ a bad game because it's literally just auto combo merchant, as well as the fact that it's for people who just solely rely on the fucking jankiness of MVC games instead of actually learning the game and characters. Plus, there's always like one character that haunts the game like every time there's a new fucking season that comes out, so like of course it's gonna be dog shit. When it comes down to it, and the reason I don't call these games good is because, well, one, even though I did play Strive when it like the first few months it came out, it slowly just became awful over time with bad DLC choices, as well as just impossible to get back into controls. Like Strive's controls as opposed to Rev are like fucking awful. That, and then you have a game like FighterZ that's literally just like fucking ADHD brain, big full screen attack plus auto combos, and it's pretty much, again, just for people who rely on jankiness of MVC instead of actually learning a game or its characters. But hey, the first circle jerk will still defend it just because it's made by an obscure company and it's anime, and that's only the first circle jerk, and trust me, they get pretty bad. And now the second one is like DSP levels of delusion. They are so fucking hyper fixated on Arc System Works that they deadass will try and argue that Arc System Works outclasses every other fucking fighting game company out there, even if those companies do far better jobs than Arc System Works. Like, what? And I don't know why, but especially when it comes down to Capcom. I don't know if it's because Capcom is one of the more popular fighting game companies, and you know, those fucking obscure indie guys, they gotta go fucking fight the mainstream company. And look, I'm not no Capcom guzzler, okay? Like, I'm not a fan of MVCI when it comes down to the roster choices or a lot of the other stuff that's in that game. Plus, like, Street Fighter V had like a big DLC issue, and plus a very big pet peeve of mine with Street Fighter 6 is lack of content. Otherwise, the game is actually pretty fun. But why the fuck would I feel the need to compare both Arc System Works and Capcom? It's like comparing a $5 bill to a $20 bill, and plus, like, I don't know if there's even beef there, but ever since Dragon Ball FighterZ release, both Arc System Works and their fanbase have been in like this weird stuck in high school-esque revenge fantasy when it comes down to Capcom and getting a big IP. Like, whenever Arc System Works gets a big IP, they feel the need to make it a giant fuck you to Capcom, as if Capcom was like their high school bully and shoved them in the lockers and gave them wedgies. Like, they'd rather kind of have this fuck you to Capcom instead of actually making the game good, or be happy that the IP is getting a game and that they're being able to make money. Now look, this isn't really me trying to diss Arc System Works as a company, and I made a joke about it earlier at the beginning of the video, and this, again, is just criticism when it comes down to them, and this is stuff that I noticed when it comes down to them as a company. But if Arc System Works really, and I mean really, was so fucking goated, then why haven't they focused that much on their original IPs instead of relying on big IPs like Marvel or Dragon Ball? Again, I know this isn't a diss, and again, I said it earlier, and I even joked about it in the beginning of the video, and I've made it pretty clear that this isn't really a big diss, but again, if they were so perfect, why do they not really bank off their own original IPs instead of banking off big name IPs? Yes, when it comes down to the circle jerkers and the big ol' hype anime fighter YouTubers, then I'm just gonna say it right here, right now. But much like everyone's favorite company, your favorite company has a fucking weakness, and that is their weakness. They are pretty much just as flawed as any other company. Plus, also, again, when it comes down to them getting big IPs, they always manage to make it a fuck you to Capcom. It's kind of as if they're still like stuck in high school and just take it out on their fucking high school bully in their adult life when everyone's moved on but them. Like, it just reeks of someone stuck in high school. But that's what happens when you get two abysmal fan bases in obscure media and anime, and then you combine the two. Like, they just can't get their favorite thing's dick out of of their mouths, which, knowing how much of how big of gooners they are, it doesn't fucking surprise me.
Secret formula is John Cena.
Now look, every fanbase has gooners, much like everyone knows the obscure media guy, and if you thought Street Fighter gooners were just straight up down bad, oh no, wait till you see Guilty Gear ones. Well, that and, well, internet artists are some of the most down bad people you fucking know, so of course it's gonna be a mix of shit. See, back when Jacko came out for Strive, which, Strive is like the fucking best and worst thing to happen to this fucking franchise, bro, like, I'm being dead. See, when Jacko came out for Strive, which again is the best and worst thing to happen to Guilty Gear, people who still probably close their eyes at sex scenes in movies were going crazy over her crouch animation, which I am not going to show because I'm not trying to stimulate fucking gooners. Like, just go to the hub at that point. But see, that's too easy for the average Arc System Works fan and the average internet artist, because when you get the two, much like everything with Arc System Works, when it fuses with something that's already bullshit, you get like kind of a fucking incest baby level kaiju. Because they decided to, instead of wank one out, they decided to pretty much go on a months-long art challenge to draw this pose with other female characters just to fuel their fucking goonery. But that's not all, because why would it ever be all? Why would it ever be fucking all? It's like what Dr. Manhattan said. Nothing ever remember I had an interaction with someone who liked Guilty Gear, mainly Testament from Guilty Gear. Okay, so what's wrong with that? They like a certain character? Well, of course, this is the gooner section of the video, so of course there's gonna be a cat. Speaking of Watchmen, this is actually a perfect fucking picture transition. But this person was so down fucking bad for Testament, right? They were so much of like a Testament fucking like glazer and just like down bad horn dog for this character. They were describing this character in such like a fucking explicit 50 Shades of Grey way. It felt like Rorschach talking about his fucking mask. Like, ugh, like I don't even want to talk about it in detail. This is that fucking nasty. Like, how hard can it not be? Like, how hard can it be to just wank one out and move on with your fucking day? Like, how hard can that be? But if you're an Arc System Works fan, of course it's gonna be hard as shit, because you have people who are borderline goon-cessed with a fucking character, as well as a months-long art challenge to let everyone know that you're just a fucking Coomer gooner. Good to know, bro. Just straight up good to know. Now just go wank one out and never pick up a pencil. Like, never cook again. Never pick up a pencil.
Fucking tragic. Look at yourself. You used to be someone to fear. You've fallen a long way.
Overall, the fanbase just comprises of people who just circle jerk the company and can't accept any real form of criticisms, that as well as the fact that they will defend it to a T, not because they like it or because, oh well, they make good games, because it's both anime and it's obscure. They also feel the need to constantly try and flex or like compare Arc System Works to Capcom or any other fighting game company out there, even though those companies are far bigger, plus they actually bank on their original IPs, unlike Arc System Works, which again, it's not really a diss, it's a criticism. Like, I'm sorry if I'm wording it like a diss. I mean, it kind of sounds like that, but again, it's just a big criticism I have of them. But I wouldn't really compare them to Capcom or anyone really. That or they are being some of the biggest fucking gooners of all time. Like, again, the whole fucking art challenge involving Jacko, and also, let's not forget, you know, let's just not forget that the person I mentioned who was just that down bad for Testament. Like, let's just not forget that, because, like, what the actual fuck? Like, okay, like, you could find a character attractive, but, like, being that down bad over a fucking 3D anime model? Like, come on. No, look, I don't hate the company Arc System Works. I don't really hate the company. I mean, fuck, I like BlazBlue, and I'm willing to give Marvel Tokon a chance if the game actually has a unique and good roster, but, like, the fan base is fucking abysmal. And because it's both anime and obscure media / indie stuff, it pretty much is very circle jerky to the point where no one made a video on the fan base, or even tries to, and I feel like I'm the only one that tried that or thought that. Because holy fuck, Arc System Works fans, they're just awful. Plus, also, I have a feeling that Marvel Tokon is just gonna have a bad roster, so I'm just gonna stick with Invincible Versus, okay? But overall, fuck Arc System Works fans, and fuck the FGC. Not as bad as MVC fans, who want their own video, but also not as bad as Tekken fans, which are also fucking atrocious, but that's a story for another time. Especially MVC fans, like, ugh. And also Tekken. Like, Tekken is bred some of the worst fucking people. Again, I don't really hate the company. The company is whatever, but man, I really hate the fucking fan base. Just remember, Arc System Works fans, if you're watching this video, your favorite company is not immune to criticism, and it's not perfect.